Table or truth?
Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting week for uh, involuntarily having to put any effort, if that's the right way to phrase it, to look up crazy news. Again, our whacked world and country is so full of just events and adventures, which, as they say, when things happen that are very good in the world and pleasant and tranquil, those will take a great deal of storytelling and explaining and analyzing. The things that are gruesome and disturbing or just bizarre and absurd, those take a lot of deal for storytelling and may require a lot of details to try to make sense of it. So we're not at a loss this week. We have plenty of stuff we can talk about. Do you have, sir, anything before I start?
No, you go, man.
You want me to go? Okay, well, welcome once again to another episode of Table for Truth. This is X. This is Tyson. Greetings. This episode has been brought to you by Lipton Iced Tea, and Poland Spring, Trader Joe's, and what were those wraps that you got us from? those look pretty good. I am again amazed at the world itself. The things that stuck out for me this week, and there's several. We may not be able to get all around to all of it this week, but you're probably familiar with the ongoing stupitudes going on in New York concerning Letitia James trying to destroy Donald Trump's legacy, or at least his pocketbooks. And a really interesting thing happened recently. I'm sure you must have heard of it. How about Letitia James and her minion there? What was her name? Laura Kavanaugh. Let me get my notes out here, because this was really interesting. I heard this story unfold over the week in the last 4 or 5 days. So, okay, it turns out that Letitia James was giving a speech at a church somewhere in New York City. Did you hear about that? Okay, and in the speech was a crowd of New York's finest, New York firefighters, who were just, kind of, maybe they were obligated to have to go there, or they get a discount or something on, fire equipment. I don't know. But they were there listening to their leader, appointed by office, Attorney General of New York, right? Letitia James. Am I missing any titles from her? Or?
Well, she's a prosecutor.
Isn't she? I'm sorry. Isn't she not a? Isn't she like a Attorney General of the state? Or am I crazy?
You're crazy.
Okay, sorry. Prosecutor then Letitia James, and not Attorney General of the state of New York. Although I don't know. Let's look that one up. We might have to edit this part out.
No need to edit it. We'll just correct it.
Correct. All right. I heard through the grapevine she was like an Attorney General, but I don't know. That just seemed a little too much. But let's see what's going on.
Continue.
Well, anyway, so during the speech, yes.
You are absolutely right.
She's
Letitia James is the New York State Attorney General. Well done.
Good grief is, I think, more to the point. But, okay, so Letitia James may or may not be on a power trip, although I think evidence may or may not show this. And there's clues to see if she is truly a power-hungry megalomaniac, or just somebody who's misunderstood and is there to serve the public and her subservience that work for the fire departments in New York. Okay, so she's at a church. She starts giving a speech, and all of a sudden, she gets a lot of boos from the crowd. And she condescendingly tells them to calm down or knock it off, right? Like she's a teacher. And then they retort by just having a nice chant of Trump for like 2 minutes. Trump, Trump, Trump. And you can tell this really got to her. You can actually watch the footage. She's going nuts. Well, she's trying to hold it. You know, like that face people make when they got caught in something. They know it's true. Somebody trolls them, and then they make that weird grin, but you can see the anger like well up in the jaw and in the neck. Like that kind of thing where you kind of look to the side a little bit. That historians can see the footage and judge for themselves if the body language might have shown a bruised ego on this case, or a lack of understanding why the crowd might have chanted that, or that maybe there was a disappointment that the crowd doesn't ultimately support her actions after all. I don't know what she was thinking, but she didn't have to say anything. The actions speak for themselves with her body language. Anyway, so a little later, she gets her enforcer, Laura Kavanaugh, okay, who apparently is the fire commissioner of New York City, I believe, hired by Eric Adams, to, and I quote, hunt down and or re-educate firefighters that booed her boss, Letitia James. Now, it's in the Constitution to heckle. It might be rude, but I believe it's everybody's constitutional right to do that. I don't think we're missing a step here if we make that comment. She may not agree with her crowd, right? But how many politicians, including Trump, have gotten heckled in the past, and they either come up with a witty comeback right then and there, or they just kind of absorb it and they just realize it's part of public office. Now, Obama, to his credit, was very good at detractors. He'd always be like, well, everybody's entitled to opinion. Okay, everybody calm down, please. Everybody's entitled to it. He was respectful and he was graceful, and for that, you can at least admire him for that, right? This woman, all right, I don't know what her deal is. Like, she seemed pretty butthurt, for lack of a better word, about the heckling, which I can understand from a personal point of view. Nobody likes to be, like, heckled and booed. But she seems kind of vindictive. Okay, almost taking her power to another level. So let's see who this Laura Kavanaugh is. Apparently she's, some are calling her Letitia James' right arm fascist enforcer.
No, she's not. She's a New York City fire commissioner.
That's what I said. She's a fire commissioner.
Yes.
But some are saying, also adding in the moniker fascist enforcer. I don't think that's a real title, just for clarification, all right? So her qualifications, let's see what kind of a card she is for the fire department in New York, right? Let's see. She saw the recent diversification of the New York City applicant pool for municipal jobs, apparently in the fire department. So she seems to be a big fan of diversity over quality, but who knows? That could be disputed. She's never been a firefighter before, so she has no experience actually as a firefighter, which I think, if I may quote Achilles in the movie Troy, imagine a king, or in this case a queen, who fights their own battles. I think it's, I don't know, it just seems a little disingenuous that if she doesn't even have any fire fighting experience, and she's just purely administrative, I don't know why she would just, without question, follow the orders, if you will, of Letitia James here to again, I'll quote, hunt down and or re-educate firefighters that had booed her. Okay? So she's an Obama buddy.
Why do you assume that Letitia James, number one, the fire commissioner does not report to the Attorney General?
Apparently, there's a connection there, okay? Feel free to research this over the week. Anybody else listening tonight, feel free to research this over the week. Okay? She's an Obama buddy. Well, that makes sense. Discriminating hires based on gender diversity quotas. If that's true, if that rumor is true, is it wise to replace qualified firefighters that need to have a certain emotional resilience and technical skill to do what they do with just anybody who just happens to fill in a quota in terms of the good old-fashioned diversity hiring trend that's been going on? I guess the city of New York can decide for themselves if that's wise. She grew up near San Francisco. Well, that's not her fault. Went to New York City to get her master's at Columbia University. But at the end of the day, let's see what happens, right? I mean, this is kind of nuts. You know, like why would Letitia James go out of her way to want to? It almost seems vindictively penalize people that were just happened to be in a crowd that didn't agree with her.
You assume facts, not in evidence.
What's the evidence then?
What evidence that Letitia James instructed the fire commissioner to go after firefighters?
Do you have any? Do you have any evidence that she did not instruct her commissioner to not go after these firefighters in terms of like cancel them in some ways?
Again, you're out trying to ask
re-educate
me to approve a negative. You need the proof.
Well, you're a philosopher.
To say that.
Okay, as a philosopher, let's just make it let's pretend this never happened. as a philosopher, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's easy. What the evidently, and I just found a picture of this speech,
Mm-hmm.
and New York City firefighters were there.
Yup.
And if a number of my employees acted out
Yeah.
as commissioners, that may seem embarrassing.
It might be embarrassing, but it's when they're
may
right.
I finish?
Sorry.
It may be embarrassing to the NY fire department, and so she may have done it on her own. That she wants to know who was out there and who was heckling.
Not if the
speech.
Not if the rest of New York actually agrees with those hecklers. It wouldn't really be embarrassing by default if most of or a lot of people in New York are like, actually, I agree with those firefighters.
That's irrelevant.
What do you mean it's irrelevant? If they're there to serve the people in New York, I mean, at the end of the day, who are you trying to keep a reputation for? You know, I mean that's absurd. It's like, what if anything, you would be getting more praise and more, street cred if you actually were kind of representing the views of the majority of the people that you're supposed to be there to serve. Again, your whole purpose is to serve the people in New York, right? And as a politician, you're there to serve the people in New York too. That is your job. That's your job as a politician. It's not for you to be tyrant for a day and then just, as they say, pull a hypothetical Trump on his first day back in office kind of thing, right? Like a lot of Democrats.
Are you talking Letitia James? Or are you talking about Kavanaugh?
I'm talking about Letitia. Kavanaugh I'm going to argue, is a foot soldier for Letitia James.
She's not. She's a fire commissioner.
Yeah, but if she actually carries this mandate, I can't imagine.
Once again, you
Hunt
have
down.
nothing.
Okay,
you have no proof that
Hunt
Letitia
down.
James
Let's see.
Instructed the fire commissioner.
All right, let's take a look.
Anything.
Hunt down. Letitia James. Unbelievable.
Nothing.
And even if it was all made up, it's amazing you're defending this.
Defending it, I'm about truth.
Yeah, we're about truth and logic, and also the
not
truth.
BS.
But the truth
all
is,
you did was sit here.
But the truth
and say
is
that Letitia James ordered
the
fire
truth is
commissioner to go after other
New York
people.
Post, FD.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? It's still a paper, okay? Boss hunts down staffers who booed New York Attorney General Letitia James, who cheered for Trump at a rally, okay? Now, this is no longer me. This is the New York Post, aside from all the rumors and innuendos I've heard.
What did they say?
Well, why don't we read it? Relax, all right? Let's see. New York Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh is hunting down smoke eaters and other staffers who mercilessly booed New York Attorney General Letitia James and cheered in support of Donald Trump. Yeah, they didn't, tell her to F off or anything. They just simply were, during a department promotion ceremony this week, the Post has learned. The chief of department, John Hodge, fired off an email to other agency honchos warning a reckoning led by the department's Bureau of Investigation and Trials was coming over the chorus of boos and chants of Trump that James received at Thursday's event. BITS, or BITS, I guess, is investigating this, so they will figure out who the members are. Why would they bother to do that? This is all this is from a guy named Hodges who's actually affiliated with the actual hierarchy.
This story. She just told a lie. You said Letitia James was doing a speech at a church and these guys booed her.
Yeah.
It wasn't a church.
Oh, okay,
This was a New York City Fire Department promotion ceremony.
But it was held at a church. That's the truth.
Okay.
Okay, so it was technically a church, but I'm sorry. I guess that disproves my whole argument, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Folks, what do you think?
This was a New York Fire Department ceremony that she was speaking at.
Okay, which is still just as bad.
It doesn't matter whether it was. But
are they on the payroll? Are they in the payroll at that ceremony? Are they forced to go to that ceremony? They're going to lose their jobs. Are they still have free speech?
It's a promotion ceremony.
Okay, so they might have been rude, but that's no reason to penalize them after hours. They're there off the clock.
No, but that's not what you said.
Okay, but this is even worse.
Why is it even worse?
This is worse. I mean, think about it.
You said this. Why would she be there? She was there.
She was giving a speech. I get that.
At a fire department ceremony.
Okay, so you agree that she was giving a speech at a fire department ceremony at a church. Fine. Okay.
The venue is irrelevant, whether it was at a church.
Okay, well then I don't know why you're arguing so
station.
much. Because I mean,
What
you're
I'm
arguing about
arguing
it whether
is
it's in
you
a church
lied.
or not. I didn't lie. I didn't know yet any better. I just told you there's a rumor and innuendo here. I wanted to get into it. That's why I was like, "What do you think of this?" So we started analyzing it. Now you're getting all upset.
I'm not upset.
Okay.
It's you again made assumptions and facts with nothing basis. The New York Post article, which I read quickly, makes no assertion that Letitia James ordered the fire commissioner to do anything.
Let's take a look one more time. Let's read it. Okay. FDNY, all right, Fire Department of New York, Chief of Department John Hodges fired off an email to, and this is the same article you just said you read, to other agency honchos warning a reckoning led by the Department Bureau of Investigation and Trials was coming over the course of booze and chants for Trump. Now, here's the facts about that, okay? Is Letitia James going to stop this and go, well, no, it's they're within their constitutional right to do whatever they want. I may not like them, and that's fair. She can say that. That's totally fair. I don't like the fact they booed me, but if that's their choice, I can't really stop them. I thought it was rude. What's that? No, I'm not going to have them fired or hunted down, and I'm not going to have them re-educated. Okay, because it's their free speech. It's their right. I may not like them, but at the end of the day, history will show whether these guys are total jerk-offs, and I am the saint that I profess to be there to serve the people of New York. Okay? And I think you could leave it at that. Maybe that's what she should be saying to everybody right now, is a press release. So people like you and I don't have to get, we don't have to ruin our relations, if you will.
Ruin the relations?
Yeah, I mean, we get along pretty good.
Oh, no.
We're letting this half-truth or this twisted lie destroy the sacred integrity of, well, I wouldn't say sacred, but the integrity of this place right here where we discuss in nice verbal communication exchange of ideas. Now, I suppose I could blame the Post for not giving me all the facts, or I suppose I could blame the internet for not giving me all the facts. But I need to know. I'm pursuing truth. It's table for truth. I don't have the truth about this. That's why I said, what do you think?
Okay.
So now we know what you think. You're going to support the left no matter what. Okay, got it.
Once again, you throw out assumptions like they're facts, and there was no evidence. One, Letitia James, why should she comment at all about what the fire commissioner is doing in her department?
Well, what if in a week or two, which I believe the rumors seem to push, that this is all being thumbs up by Letitia James herself. Like her, Laura Kavanaugh is basically being kind of coerced to actually do all this.
Coerced by who?
Letitia James.
What proof do you have? What evidence?
Okay, so in a week or two, when we discover more, you're going to apologize if like...
Absolutely.
Okay.
I know when I'm wrong.
So let's go back to the hypothetical here.
But hypothetical. Well, why are we talking hypothetical?
Because it's table for truth. We need to philosophize.
State the facts.
No, facts isn't everything. Sometimes, in order to pursue truth, we have to have a nice civil discussion, exchange of ideas. If we don't know all the facts, so I leave you with the hypothetical. All right, we're gonna pretend, folks, that this is a hypothetical. Okay, Letitia James never showed up at a church that happened to be doing some sort of promotion for the fire department of New York, okay? But let's just say that she did, if she did. She gets up there and a bunch of people start booing her and heckling her, probably because they don't like the way she's been handling the Trump case. They think it's an overreach of justice, and it may economically hurt the real estate and therefore the economy in New York City. Now, based on that fairy tale I just gave you, what do you think of that idea if firefighters were to start booing Letitia James?
Well, I think it was rude.
Okay, that's fair, yeah.
And whether it's on the left or right, because I have problems with speakers going to colleges where people don't agree, and then they try to get the chancellor or director or whatever, or cancel out people.
Or they storm in the actual, like the speech, like they did to Riley Gaines, right? And just start screaming and like trying to take over the actual convention.
I have problems with interrupting people who are speaking. I do.
Okay, that's fair. All right, I agree with you there. Okay. I think we're both in agreement that might have been out of place, maybe. Well, you know what? Actually, I have to take that back. I personally wouldn't have been heckling too if I was one of the firefighters. I don't think it's cool. Like, it might have been rude unless there was a strict policy. Okay, if there was a strict policy, no heckling during the speech.
Why do you have to have a policy? How about just being civil with people, listening to what people have to say?
She didn't seem to listen to what they had to say either, though, in turn.
It wasn't...
She said, settle down. Those were her words. I saw the video.
Well, settle down. Why?
Because they were
interrupting her speech.
She could have been like, hey, listen, we can all talk about this. I'm just saying, think about it.
Talk about what?
Why do you hate me so much for what I did? She could have started with that.
What?
That's a civil thing. She'd be like, we're going to have another convention.
And again, it's not about them. They were there, again, for a ceremony, for promotion, for honorable firefighters.
Okay.
Why would you disrupt that? Because you don't like what Letitia James did in her job.
Well, let me ask you this. If you watch the video, okay, there wasn't too many choruses of boos in retaliation for all the people yelling Trump. Like, you didn't hear like a clash of people being like, shut up, boo, get him out of here. It was more like an overwhelming majority of people yelling Trump.
You don't know that either.
I do, because I saw the video.
The video didn't... I find it hard to believe that the video panned around to the...
All right. You don't have to pan on. You can listen to it, right? Let's listen to it. Let's listen to it.
No.
I'm going to play it, folks, right now, because I think that's the best way to, like... Is that fair? I mean...
No, it's not.
Why?
Because, again, unless you have a camera that's showing the entire audience, you just said that the majority of the people were doing this shouting.
Yeah, but what happens
but you
usually...
have no clue
how
many people did and how many people didn't. No clue.
What happens usually during a speech when the majority of people don't agree with the heckler? They boo that heckler. You hear a lot of shouts of "get him out of there." You don't even have to watch the camera. You can just hear it. People are like, "Boo," and you hear that one weak voice going, I don't know, whatever, Ali Akbar, or whatever the hell they want to scream.
It wasn't a public audience there. This was firefighters who were there for a ceremony.
Okay, but that doesn't change the fact that, like something clearly happened here. Okay, so here's the sound of it. Okay, just listen to the sound.
Introduce our next speaker, Attorney General Letitia James.
Sounds like a lot of boos right away, but maybe I'm crazy.
Oh, come on. We're in a house of God. First, simmer down. Thank you. Thank you for getting it out of your system. I want to thank Commissioner Kavanaugh and Chief Hodgins for that recognition. And today we are making history. Swearing in our first African-American woman chaplain of FDNY.
Okay, notice they started cheering for the actual person getting sworn in.
No. You left out the part that amongst those initial boos were applause. I could hear the applause. You didn't hear the applause?
Barely, like faint, like an echo. If you close your ears and it's like when you take those tests as a kid, you have to hear the pin drop in like the nurse's office.
Leave out vital information.
Well, we hear it here. I could barely hear that when I heard more boos and Trump. I mean, yeah, there was technically a few people going, Look, you remember the scene in the... well, I won't even go there. I'm not going to go.
I appreciate that.
Okay. The point is, I just heard audio proof right there, okay?
Of what?
There might have been a couple people that were like,
there was more
shut up.
Okay,
I heard more people...
So you did
You want? Yeah, I did, but nowhere as much as people booing and yelling Trump.
But you just said before playing that, well, why didn't, usually I think someone is telling someone to shut up. Yeah. You heard that. Yeah. Did you not? Did you not hear
but
applause?
Faintly. Barely. That shows that the majority of people do not agree with Letitia James. I mean, at the end of the day, that's facts. You like facts, that's your facts right there. It's all there. Guys, if you want to watch the video itself, okay, just go on the New York Post. New York attorney Letitia James met with a chorus of boos. Just type that in. You can hear for yourselves. Tyson's not convinced. I guess you believe everybody loves Letitia James in New York. and all over the world. I heard they're making a Saturday morning cartoon of her, by the way, in New York. You know, MSNBC is like doing this really cool. They're trying to bring back the Saturday morning cartoons, and they're doing this whole thing about like Trump's the villain, and she's like her superpower is like this big gavel, right? And you just kind of go around like Mario World style. I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I hope that ends up a pretty good cartoon. It's not too woke, you know, as they say. Breakfast cereals. That'd be kind of cool, right? The first breakfast cereal in a decade that doesn't kill you with mycoplastics inside of it. You know.
What else you got?
All right. Well, the next thing I've got, well, it's 2513, so we've been babbling for quite a bit.
You got a short one, or you want to end this and we can?
Let me see if I got something out of the bag of tricks here. No, this next one's probably going to require a lot more talking.
Right,
Project
well,
2025.
We can give the people a break.
All right, let's give a. Do you have any short little tidbits of news? Any powerful, inspiring messages? You know, any praise, any encouraging word for our audio ship?
Encouraging?
Yeah, you know, like people are pretty bummed out at the state of the world. We won't mention, you know, who caused this mess, but like, let's just say, you know, people need to hear a little hope. What do you got for the crowd?
All right. Well, NATO is conducting the biggest drill since the Cold War, sending a signal to Russia. The Nordic drill in the northern regions of Finland, which includes, of course, NATO troops. Some 20,000 troops from 13 nations just kicked off. And as it's part of a wider exercise called Steadfast Defender 24. And they are NATO's biggest exercise in decades, with up to 90,000 troops involved over several months.
So they're building a giant drill, like what, for like a massive bomb shelter or something? What are they?
No, it's an exercise, war exercise.
A war exercise drill. Oh, gee, that's really comforting. Okay, great. World War III preparations. Thank you, Tyson.
No problem.
All right, that's
I put
awesome.
a smile on your face and
good old
warmth in
Western
your heart.
Yeah. Okay, power brokers instigating more messes to lead to World War III. Okay, maybe time for one more. All right, something a little bit more cheerful than that.
Something more cheerful?
Yeah, you know.
The governor of New York,
okay, Kathy Hochul,
yes, is putting the National Guard in the subway systems in New York. So
funny you mention that. That'll lead us in transition beautifully to our next episode, where we talk about, I believe it's called Agenda 47. But kids, you're going to have to wait till our next week's smashing episode, or 10 minutes from now, depending on when you listen to these, for another episode of Table for Truth, action-packed with geopolitics and current events. I hope you enjoyed this one. Good luck out there.
Hi folks, hit a like and don't forget to subscribe, and share the episodes if you like them.